of my favorite SeaTurtle demos running. It's called Tube, and you can find it in the examples menu. You know, most of the time when we use SeaTurtle, we want to make interesting graphical representations like this. But sometimes we want to just do a more simple program that just has text output. And I'm going to show you in this tutorial how to do that and how to use a couple tools in SeaTurtle to help. So let's say that we wanted to add together all of the numbers in some range. I'm going to pause the Tube program now. I'm going to delete it. And let's start a new program. In this program, we're going to want to add up all the numbers between 1 and some maximum. So I'm going to create a variable for that maximum. I'll call it maximum. That's a good name, right? And I will set it initially to 10. Maybe we'll add up the numbers between 1 and 10. And we're also going to need some accumulator. I'll call it total. And that's going to be, as we go through a loop, adding up all the numbers between 1 and 10, we're going to store that total inside the variable total. And then we'll need some number that will represent all the numbers between 1 and 10. So I'm going to create a number called n, and I'll initially set it to 1 because we'll start with adding the number 1, and then eventually when we get up to the number 2, we'll add the number 2, and then we'll add the number 3, and so we'll keep incrementing n by 1, and we'll start at 1. Okay. So to add all the numbers between 1 and 10, I'm going to need a loop that goes around 10 times. So I'll create a loop by using the repeat statement, and I'll set it to repeat maximum. That's how many times we want to run the loop. And every time that we repeat the loop, I'm going to add n to total. So I'll set total to be total plus n. And I will need to keep incrementing n by 1. So I'll set n to be n plus 1. In other words, every time this loop executes, and we end our loops with the end statement, we will go around and we will add 1 to n, and we will add n to total. And total will keep accumulating all the numbers, therefore, between 1 and 10. Okay. We've seen before in another tutorial the variables window. So let me open that up, and I'll reset the picture here. We don't need the cool tube here, do we? Okay. And let me step through the program. So we set maximum to 10, and you see that happening in the variables window. We set total to 0, you see that in the variables window. Okay, now we set n to 1, you see that in the variables window. Now I'm going to step a little faster as we go through the repeat, the loop. So you'll keep seeing n be incremented, and total will keep getting all of the numbers that n becomes added to it. Okay. So we ran through our program, and we have some output here. I mean, in the end, we got the total, which is 55. Set inside of this window. But what if I want to actually create some text output? That's where the print statement comes in. So I'm going to close this variables window. I'm going to add a new statement to the bottom here, print. And I'm going to say for print total. That'll be the final total after I've added all the numbers together. Now I'm going to reset here, and I know that the total is supposed to be 55 because we just stepped through with the variables. I'm going to open up a new window here, log output. Log output will print whatever comes from print. Let me press play. And after I press play, I get 55 as the total. Okay, that's what I expected. Let me try this slightly differently. What if I wanted to tell you that something like a grand finale, the total is? Well, I can do that. You notice I put what I want to print out to the console in quotes. We call that a string literal. So that's literal text that's going to print out to the console. Let me try running again. Okay, now it says the total is in 55. We can also do in SeaTurtle is what we call string interpolation, which is combine a variable with text. So to do string interpolation, you use a $sign, and then you follow the $sign by the name of a variable. So now I'll say the total is total, and total with the $sign represents the number that total, the variable, represents. Now I'll press play. It says the total is 55. And I can do this with multiple variables. So now I can write something using the maximum, let's say. The total sum of the numbers between 1 and whatever the maximum is, so I'm going to use my string interpolation here for maximum, is total. Let me try that out. Play. The total sum of the numbers between 1 and 10 is 55. Very cool. Now I can change the maximum from 10 to some other number. Let's say 100. Press play. Let's see what happens. The total sum of the numbers between 1 and 100 is 5,050. Very cool. So the combination of the print statement and the log output window can let you write programs that just have some text output instead of having what we call, let's say, graphical output with the turtle.